Hey, it's the Hellion from the Hellion Rocks. You know, it truly is a small world in the music industry. The other day, I got a message from my friend Justin Manning, guitarist from Crown by Fire, and almost simultaneously on Facebook, I got a message from this guy we're about to talk to that ended up doing this interview today. It's a very cool thing. We're talking to Monte Pittman, guitarist extraordinaire. Monte, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing really good. How about you?
Awesome. We're continuing to march to the drums of spreading rock and roll music that corporate's not going to play. You know, we're not afraid. We're out here championing the cause of rock and roll, which is how it should be. We're in the streets. We're talking to everybody that we can. And you've got a brand new record out that's kicking ass, dude. It's a great record. Tell me about it.
It's called The Power of Three. It's out on Metal Blade Records. It's my third album. And it's a full-on heavy guitar assault of an album, I guess you could say. It was produced by Fleming Rasmussen, who you know from the old Metallica albums, and Rainbow and Morbid Angel, Cat Stevens even. And it's been out a few weeks now, and it debuted on got up to number 14 on the iTunes charts, on the metal charts. And that's considering Black Sabbath had just released all of their Aussie catalog at the same time. So it would have got to like number 4 or 5.
That's cool, you know.
But who's counting?
Right. I'm digging the record. I'm digging one of the tracks that stands out to me is Delusions of Grandeur, man. It's got just like a really killer groove and just vibe around it, man. Tell me, how did you develop this record?
There's a couple of riffs that I had that didn't go anywhere. Like they didn't really go with any other band I was playing with, and I had said that one day I'm going to make a heavy album just for fun. And I wrote a lot of A Dark Horse and Delusions of Grandeur at the same time, kind of back to back. Kind of wrote them together. And then a couple of years later, when I had finished my second album, Pain, Love, and Destiny, I'd gone on a camping trip with some friends out in Death Valley. And we went for the weekend, and I took an acoustic with me, and I wound up just in the back seat of the vehicle. And so I just sat back there, and I just kept writing. And I was just, I like to take it, there's a writing exercise where you just write what's around you. And especially doing that in a place like Death Valley, what you're writing down looks one way to you, but then when a listener hears the song, they could think of it as something different. For example, U2's The Joshua Tree. I've always thought of those songs as a certain way, but when you listen to them out in Death Valley or, in Joshua Tree National, then like you kind of hear what they're talking about. When the streets have no name, it's like, oh, they're on these dirt roads through the desert that don't have a name, and so that's where I just started putting it all together, and it started just kind of writing itself. Nice. Just kind of open the floodgates and let it just come out, and always have your guitar next to you, or keep your phone with you so you can make some voice memos on your iPhone, and that's how I put it all together. And then I made a demo and just kept fine tuning it.
It worked, man.
So that's it.
It worked, and it's out on Metal Blade Records, which is a coup for you, man. That's very cool.
Yeah, I was gonna release it on my own. I did an acoustic EP with Fleming, and then I'd given him all my demos, and he was helping me with that. And he said, he said, what are these heavy songs you have on here? I said, just something one day for fun. I'm gonna do this and do that. And he said, no, that's what you need to be doing. And I said, because I played in prong, I had a heavy band in Texas called My Remains I used to play in, and I said, well, I felt like I've already done that. And, like, how am I going to do that now? Kind of a thing. And he said, no, you just need to get your guys, and you need to knock out these songs. And that's what we did, and I played it for Brian Slagle afterwards, and then he signed me to Metal Blade. It was just by chance that I was going to get with Brian. I've met him off and on throughout the years. And we recently got back in contact with Chris Barnes, and because I saw them both out, and then that just kind of brought the attention again. And Rachel Fine from the Howard Stern Show tweeted out something from, she wanted, like when they would have a hashtag and it said ultimate Christmas dinner guests. And so she put me and Brian, and then I was like, oh, Brian's on Twitter, what's he up to? And then I clicked on there, and then we started communicating again. And when I got back from Copenhagen from recording The Power of Three, we were just going to like have dinner or whatever. And I said, hey, I got to play you something. And tell me what you think I should do with it. Thinking that maybe he would know who I should send it to. Thinking there would be some new label or something. And he said, this would work for Metal Blade. And I was like, really? It's heavy enough? And I always think of what I'm doing is just not heavy enough.
Dude, it is, man. You know, it's heavy at the same time. It's got melody to it, you know, and it's got that nice groove. And I think, you know, heavy is just relative to what people want to think. You know, there's that balls out shred, and then there's, you know, just some really heavy grooves, and I think that's where you sit right now with that Power 3.
Yeah, well, there should still. I'm a firm believer in you should have something for everybody. Like one of my really good friends was just telling me, he's like, oh, track 1 through 7 on the album. He said, I just listened to that and I can't turn it off. I said, well, what about track 8, Into the World? He goes, I don't know about that one. He goes, it's good, but he goes, that's more of the slower kind of song. I was like, yeah, that's what I need to get the other people in.
Right.
And then someone else will say, yeah, that's kind of too heavy for my taste. But that song, Into the World, more of just the rock song, I really like that one. So it's good that everybody likes something different out of it.
Well, you know, in defense of the record itself, I put it on and let it go through and just listen to the whole thing, and I got no complaints. It's a good record, and I'm finding more and more that people are making good records again, and it's giving me my faith back.
Me too. I think a lot of people are just fed up with everything. It's like getting back to what they enjoy doing. Maybe that's a good thing. As a blessing in disguise is what's happened with the music industry. Because for a while there, people were trying to chase whatever is new.
Right.
You know, people were trying to come up with some new form of music, and then that happened with rap metal, and we see where that took us. And I think it was good to just kind of go back and, like for me, I just wanted to make the album that I never had. I had a lot of things like it, but I didn't have all those things together.
Right.
And so that's what brought me here.
Well, I'm glad you took that journey, and it happened. You know, it's given, like I said, it was giving faith back, because I think a lot of bands, like we were just discussing, were chasing that elusive, you know, one-hit wonder song, and you know, filling the rest of the record up. When back in the day when we were, you know, it was an entire record. The whole concept was there, and the art was put into it, the love was put into it, and we got fantastic records. And that's how I see Power of Three.
Yeah, it was recorded all together. It was recorded, we were all in the same room, recorded to tape, all analog. Fleming did everything right there in the desk. There was no outside pieces of gear. I learned so much about making an album and about sound and what to do and what not to do from working with them. And that's one of the things that people can, you know, anyone can go out there and make an album now. So you have to raise the game a little bit. You have to raise the bar. You have to go back to making an album. One thing, you know, when you hear, when you hear I like to hear, like you'll hear in the Power of Three, I like to hear a drum set. I like to hear those little noises, like when Led Zeppelin did Since I've Been Loving You. You hear that squeak of the kick drum pedal.
Right.
Like I like that. And a lot of times, like someone will take the drums and then just replace the sounds or move everything exactly in time, but you're missing kind of that personality from the drummer playing. If you can't get a good drum sound, I mean, I've been in those situations too, then yeah, definitely replace the drum sounds. But if you have the ability to, you know, just take a little time, mic it up right, and do everything right, that's not needed. You're taken away from it.
Exactly. You're losing the organic flow of the record, which is
Yes.
one of the things I miss from analog. You know, you had that
Mm-hmm.
certain warmth and brightness in the quality of the music on an analog versus digital. Yeah, you can do more digitally, and, you know, it makes it more accessible, but, you know, at what cost? You know, we have, you listen to those old records, like you were just talking about Zeppelin, you feel that organic flow.
Yeah. And that's why you still talk about those albums
Yep.
today. That's one of the things that have stuck with us.
Man, what a concept to make a good record like that again. That's good on you, man. So you've had a hell of a career, man, getting to where you are today. And, you know, what have you learned, man? What have you culled from that experience?
From which?
From
Because there's been a lot of experiences. It's hard to just say that I learned from one. They all kind of work together in a way.
Right.
Because I had a band in Texas, and then we almost got, we kind of flirted with the idea of getting a record deal, but we didn't know what to do. Like, there was someone from Reprise Records came out to see us and said he was interested, but then we didn't know what to do from there. And just like with making recordings, we didn't know how to record ourselves, and no one in the area knew how to record us. It was because there weren't a lot of the kind of music that we play. There weren't those sort of situations. A lot of it was country music or something like that. And what we were looking for was more like along the lines of where Pantera went, you know.
Right.
And so a lot of it was just you make a mistake, and then you learn from that, and you just keep going. You just can't give up. But when I moved to LA, I went back and forth between playing with Madonna and playing with Prong. And so for playing with Madonna, you get to tour in the biggest situation of touring that you could possibly have. And then with Prong, it's a real band's tour. You know, there's touring those times we were touring in a van, showering at truck stops, or just having a hotel room with a shower. And there's times we were in a bus. You know, I think when we were in the bus, that's when we have a hotel room for a shower. And so I'm glad that I've got to experience all of that before what I'm about to do now, which is booking my own shows. And there will be some of that touring in a van and showering at truck stops. And I'm glad that I'm not going to be doing that for the first time on my own, going, what the hell is this? What have I got myself into?
But what a great...
So, a lot of it is, it's just, learning from, I probably learned more from my mistakes than anything else.
Nice. Prong is where I first caught you, the name Monte Pittman hit on my radar. And, I liked the work you did with Prong. And, actually, I was really, really glad to hear that, you got hooked up with the Madonna gig, and you did really good work with, really good music with them too. And, ultimately my heart falls back into hard rock heavy metal music. When I when I heard of, the Power of Three, I was like, right on. And then this interview happened, and I was like, this is pretty damn cool. That's what I'm
awesome. That's awesome.
It's funny how things work. You listen to people, you listen to the musicians you listen to, and then you end up talking to them and find out you're from the same mold, same background as them, and it just makes the music that much more special to people.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of us out there. We've got to round everybody back up.
That's true. I think it's up to us. Back in the day when rock and roll was first getting started, it was all about ground roots, grassroots sharing of music. Hey, check this band out. This is what I'm listening to. And before corporate radio got involved in playing it, it was up to the the people that were digging the music to spread it around. I think that's kind of where we are today. There's obviously the big radio stations that are playing, where they think the money is, and there's a lot of old music that is not getting played versus there's a lot of new music that's not getting played. And so it's up to us as the lovers of that music to spread that word however we can. And that's what we're trying to do here at the Hellion Rocks.
That's great. What I thought was really cool, like on some of these like radio interviews that I've done where they're playing some of the music, I'm noticing that they're also playing Prong and Pantera and Cannibal Corpse
right.
and Old White Zombie and, Refuse Resist from Sepultura, like playing all of that stuff together, and hopefully that makes people go, damn, music used to be really good. And then something happens.
Yep, that's true.
I mean, not that things are bad. I'm not going down that road. I'm not saying that music sucks now and they don't like they used to, but they don't make it like they used to. That's a fact. That's not my opinion.
That's true.
And it's and there was something different. Like all of those, and here's one of the things: all of those bands, they all played together, and you had. If you were a Sepultura fan, you might get turned on to Pantera or White Zombie or Prong from that. There wasn't just one band. Never in history has there just been one band alone that's just made it on their own. You have to have other bands. If you watch those Metal Evolution documentaries?
Love those.
Where they talk about the new wave of British heavy metal. I think that they're talking about how the new bands that came up, like when people would go into the record store looking for whoever the new band is, they would also turn them on to the bands who had been around, and it just made the whole scene bigger, and that made all of the bands bigger.
That's true. I remember being...
I got a show...
Go ahead, man.
April 5th. I got a show April 5th at the Whiskey, and I asked the Whiskey, I said, can I book my own show? I said, because I want to keep people, I would love to keep people in your club, and not when we're done playing, they go to the Rainbow or Rock and Riley's down the street. And so they said, sure, go for it. So then I contacted the bands that I'm friends with. Look, the way that we used to do it in Texas is we would play a show with our friends in Dallas, right? And we would open up for them, and then they would come to Longview, and then they would open up for us, and they were turned on to a whole new audience, our audience loved them, bought all their CDs and shirts. And then we had another band that we were friends with in Shreveport, and we would all team up. So we all kind of cross-pollinated with each other's bands. And so I said, let's do that here, because nobody is doing that. And so April 5th at the Whiskey, it's me, Holy Grail, and Gypsy Hawk.
Oh, nice.
All playing together, the same show. I got a couple other bands that I'm trying to get in there, and I don't think that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed with them yet. And but the idea is for people. The whole idea is for you'll want to come to the Whiskey at 8:00 and see the first band, and you're not going to want to leave till 1 in the morning when you see the last band. Make a whole thing out of it. Not like, I'm going to go see this one band, and then we're going to go have dinner, and then we're going to go to this other club. No, none of that. Something where you stayed in there and you're seeing all these bands and like, oh, wow, that second band that played, I've never heard of them before. They were really cool. I'm going to check them out. That's my plan.
That's cool. It's funny you say that. Gypsy Hawk, Eric Kluber, is a friend of mine.
Oh, yeah, same here. He's a good guy.
Wow. See, it does get smaller and smaller. But, yeah, exactly.
We know a lot of crazy musicians together.
That's true, man. It's exactly the thing. Nothing bums me out more when people, they come to check out the band they want to, and then they bail out. You're missing out on a good thing. When we used to hang out before shows and after shows, that was the mission. We would tell people about the bands we're checking out. Hey, listen to this band, and the word got out. And back then it seemed like it was a better scene. So we kind of get that back going like that, and that's a good plan that you just told me about the Whiskey, man. Cool.
Yeah. So, and then hopefully we can add more shows there. I want to come there to Albuquerque and play. Just looking for a place who will have me. We've got March 12th in Austin at South by Southwest, March 14th in Dallas, March 16th in Longview. Looking to tie in Shreveport, Little Rock, Tulsa, all of that. Going there. I'm just kind of taking a new city every day and trying to get in there. But it's really hard doing it on your own.
Yep, it is.
It's damn near impossible doing it on your own.
It's a daunting experience. I know that.
Yeah. And for people who are looking at it, how the hell do they do it? You have to be sitting at your computer all day just to be waiting for a response and then to, be able to make something happen.
Yep, it is. It's not easy anymore. So we're talking to Monte Pittman, got a brand new record out on Metal Blade Records, Power of Three. It's a heavy record, man. It's heavy, but very, very listenable. What do you want to tell the fans before we have to sign off, Monty?
Just keep checking out the material. I got 2 other albums out. Before this one is an acoustic album called The Deepest Dark. That's how I started playing. Started doing acoustic shows so I could play gigs. And then Pain, Love, and Destiny is my second album. It's more of a rock album. You know, it's got drums and bass and some guitar solos on it. And then that brought me here to the Power of Three. That's a full-on heavy album. Great driving music, great running music. Something to keep you going. And then take it to MontePittman.com, MontePittman, at Monte Pittman on Twitter, Instagram, or on Facebook. Just Google me, you'll find me. You can find some live videos at the Monte Pittman Music YouTube page. We did a video for the track Before the Morning Sun.
Nice.
You got to check that out, too. That's our first video. Hopefully going to be doing a new video soon.
Awesome. Well, you know, I appreciate you taking the time out and talk to us today. You know, you're welcome anytime on the Hellion Rocks. Anytime.
You're welcome. Yeah, thanks for talking with me. I'm glad Justin put us together.
Yeah, anything we can ever do to help, you know, to promote or whatever, you got it. You know, we're going to probably spin a couple tracks. We do an internet radio show called Bleach Bangs Radio on Tuesday nights. Maybe we can get you on that, too. And
awesome.
I'll set that up, and we're going to spin a track tomorrow night on it, so we'll get the word
out.
Cool.
That's killer.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, man. Hellion Rocks, Monte Pittman. Keep rocking.
All right.